Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming to you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9, which is all just fine. Let's see what we got for today. Proverb for today is from the nation of Guinea, or the country of Guinea, I should say. To make preparations does not spoil the trip. To make preparations does not spoil the trip. And the poem today it's kind of a sign of the times. It's A No Mask Halloween by Doc Ock. A No Mask Halloween. Let's see what I had to say about a No Mask Halloween. To wear a mask or not to wear a mask? That is the question we've been asking all year. Well, Halloween's upon us, and we're still asking that same old question. Is it better to get a trick or a treat? What do you think? This year in March, we got tricked by COVID. Ever since then, it's been hard to grin. And my patience is just a little bit thin. Since we're still in the midst of an ongoing trick, I don't expect we'll get a treat before Juneteenth. Maybe then we can begin to grin again. In the meantime, we all need to treat each other as if we really care about one another. Wear a mask and check your range before you come down with something strange. And there we have it. A no mask Halloween. Yeah, so for me, my costume this year will consist of what I'm wearing. This will be my whole costume, maskless. That's right. I'm just going to walk up and breathe on you if I don't get my treat. I got a real trick for you. COVID in the mix. COVID in the mix. All right. Enough of that. I don't usually talk about COVID in this time frame, but today I figured it was somewhat appropriate. Meanwhile, let's finish off the end of our commentary on Hannibal and move on and groove on. Here we go. So we were talking about Hannibal and who is he? What did he look like? Is he black? Is he black enough for you? That's really the question we're asking. So as we asked that question, my professor also asked the same question in this book. The point to be made is obvious, that the chariot driver was not depicted on the coin to commemorate Claudius's successful invasion of Britain. But Claudius was, and rightfully so, because he was the leader. The analogy drawn from the point made should make it clear who was to be remembered. Black Hannibal, who made political and military history as a result of his invasion of Italy. Despite the mass of proof available to authors of the past, many tried to conceal Hannibal's racial identity. Rome, Volume 2, page 99, implies that Hannibal was Oriental. The Romans charged him with cruelty, the Carthaginians with covetousness, and it is true that he hated as only Oriental nature know how to hate, and that a general who never fell short of money in stores can hardly have been other than covetous. End quote. Mommsen not only refused to recognize Hannibal's racial identity, but made one by implication. The author also refused to recognize two other great Black Africans in the same book on page 192. He speaks of Kings Massinissa and Syphax as the two rival Berber kings. Emphasis to authors. This is obvious textbook racism. Leonard Cottrell in Enemy of Rome, London, 1960, pages 16 through 17, claimed that Carthage was a colony of Phoenicians, a Semitic race, and Hannibal was one of their descendants. Then Cottrell on page 23 said of Hannibal, no portrait, no sculpted head, not even a coin has preserved his appearance. The Carthaginian coins with Hannibal's portrait are on display in the British Museum for all to see, including Mr. Cottrell. William O'Connor Morris used the same technique of literary deception as Mommsen in his book Hannibal, New York, 1903, pages 33 and 79. Morris said that the Carthaginians were a Phoenician colony planted in the midst of inferior African races, end quote. When he makes reference to Hannibal's father, Hamilcar, regarding his attitude towards Rome, he stated Hamilcar hated Rome with true Semitic hate. Morris, of course, knew the real Hannibal because he has a picture of the coin in his book, page 151, showing the obverse side and the reverse side with the following statement under the coin: Negro head and elephant. Struck after the Battle of Trasimenus from the British Museum. Many of the authors cited in this commentary knew about Hannibal's African origin. If not, then their research was not complete. In Dio's Roman History, translated by Ernest Carey, London, 1914, Volume 2, Book 19, Zonaris, 921, and also on page 331 in parentheses, the death of Hannibal occurs when he hears that Roman envoys had been sent to King Prusius of Bithynia requesting that he be turned over to Rome. Hannibal, unable to escape, committed suicide. Zonaris continues, and this is a quote: an oracle had once announced to him that he should die in the Lybian or Libyan land, and he was expected to die in Libya, his native country, but as it happened, his death occurred while he was staying in a certain place called Libissa. End quote. In the next paragraph, another writer, Tzetzes, said that Hannibal died in Libissa, though he expected to die in his own Libyan land. For an oracle had once been written out to the following effect: a Libyssan or Libyan clod shall hide the form of Hannibal. Later, the Roman Emperor Severus, also of Libyan birth, placed in a tomb of white marble this man, the general Hannibal. See the chapter on Severus in this book. So he's talking about Septimus Severus. This is an example of one great African honoring another by establishing a memorial in recognition of one of the most gigantic and commanding persons that history has ever recorded, Hannibal. Note, Libissa is Greek, usually is the phenonym adjective for Libyan, and Libyan is Zonaris' word for Africa, as was true for many other people as well, on the map makers and cartographers, European by nature. Hannibal is still the greatest general who ever lived. His battles are classics, and books are still being written about him, extolling his military genius. In military schools and colleges throughout the world, where military strategy and tactics are taught, Hannibal's classical battles will surely be a part of the curriculum. In preparation for the First World War, the Germans planned an attack on France using the strategy Hannibal employed at the Battle of Cannae. In Barbara Tuchman's The Guns of August, 1962, pages 36, 37, 38, and 42, she discusses the quick victory theory of Clausewitz and how General Field Marshal Count Alfred von Schlieffen became engrossed in determining how to bring it about. Quote, to achieve decisive victory, Schlieffen fixed upon a strategy derived from Hannibal in the Battle of Cannae. The dead general who mesmerized Schlieffen had been dead a very long time. 2,000 years had passed since Hannibal's double envelopment of the Romans at Cannae. Field gun and machine gun had replaced bow and arrow and slingshot. Schlieffen wrote, but the principles of strategy remain unchanged. The enemy's front is not the objective. The essential thing is to crush the enemy's flanks and complete the extermination. That's his word. By attack upon his rear. Under Schlieffen's mind, always glimmered the hope that as battle unfolded, a counterattack left wing could be mounted in order to bring about a true double envelopment, the colossal canine of his dreams, end quote. Schlieffen's plan was first formulated in 1899, revised continuously up to his death in 1913. He spent his last years writing about canine. There's a book entitled Canine by the Count and published by the Command and General Staff School Press, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, in 1936. It is the height of irony that a German general would become mesmerized by the military strategy employed by a black African. Books are still being written about Hannibal. A stage play, The Road to Rome by Robert E. Sherwood, 1928. Hannibal by Harold Lamb, 1958. Enemy of Rome, 1960 by Leonard Cottrell. Alps and Elephants, 1955. Hannibal's March, 1967. And Hannibal, 1970 by Gavin de Beer. In the near future, books about Hannibal will be written by young black African scholars who will take up the intellectual challenge of research to reclaim their heritage. They can examine the evidence, coins, medals, statues, and historical sites. They can expose textbook racism, which attempts to destroy the African's identity by omission, misrepresentation, and otherwise. It is hoped that the chapter on Hannibal will bring about such aspirations. So I showed you some pictures from the book yesterday of some of the coins representing Hannibal that were coined after the Battle of Trasimenus. But I didn't show you, I didn't have this one, couldn't put my hand on this one yesterday, a picture, a close-up of the actual coin. The ones I showed you in the book were line drawings. But here you see the actual coin for yourself. This is the front of the coin. On the back, of course, there's an elephant. I don't have the picture of the back right handy right now, but I did have that one, and I wanted to share that with you. Now, how do you know this man is black? Because first of all, it's a black and white picture. The coin might be gold or could be some kind of a copper or bronze or some other lead material, whatever material they were using to make the coin. So I'm not sure what the actual natural color is, but you know he's black. You look for the signs. The big lips, the wide nose. You see the nose is quite wide over here. The big lips. And then, of course, that telltale sign. Those helical coils. Those nappy naps. Nappier than my old grandpappy that makes me really happy when I see all those nappies. Because I know when I see them nappies, I know I'm looking at a black person. I don't have to be guessing anymore. I pointed out the lips, the nose, the hair. Okay? The hair all up around here. Okay? All up around here. Now, what part of your body, does your hair cover? Most people will say the head. But what is the very top of the head called? It's called a crown. So, all you hair straighteners out there, whether you be male or female or whatever you be, yes, I'm talking directly to thee. And what I'm saying to you is that when you change the shape of your hair from the helical coil to the limp, straight strands. What does that do? One thing it does is it means every picture you take can be easily chopped to make you appear in the future to be a white person. And it's not even something that sometimes people won't even do it on purpose. It may just have to do with the lighting. It could have to do with the fact that the picture faded. Whatever it is, different things happen to these photographs over time. And before you know it, somebody who was identifiably black now has melted into the background. We don't know if they're black or white. So there's a reason that they call this part of our head a crown. And there's a reason that our nappy naps, when we let them grow naturally, they grow right out like spikes. And if you think about those crowns that all the royal heads of Europe wear, they're made of gold. They go around the crown of the head, and then they got spikes coming out of it. Now, just in case you think I'm just really stretching a point here, I want you to look at our symbol for our organization, Black Facts Research, Educational Research Incorporated. Now, you see here, there's a brother. This brother here is from Central Africa, East Central Africa. He's one of the Watusi. And during colonial days, the Watusi men wore their hair in a style like that. It's called the Amasunzu. You can look it up. People are still wearing it. It's making a rebound. The Amasunzu hairdo. Now, when you look at this picture here, this drawing I made here, Pharaoh Tutankhamun wearing the blue crown, the war crown of Egypt, that same line and that same little deal right there in the back, it's representing this right here. So this is something you put on the head to represent that. And all the crowns of Egypt are made like that. So all the brothers doing the fade on the side, that high top fade, like whatever that brother's name was. I can't think of his name right now. He was in House Party 2 and all that, and he had the really high top fade. Okay, now you don't have no hair, but he used to have a very high top fade that was imitating one of the crowns, either the red crown or the white crown. I get them mixed up, of Egypt. Just like the that Pharaoh, that Nefertiti wears. Queen Nefertiti. Just like the one that she wears. So that's where crowns come from. Crowns are not made, they're not an abstract thing. Well, they're an abstraction of hair. That's what they're representing. And since the earliest kings were some of the earliest kings, earliest, most revered and well-known kings were Africans, that's how they get those spikes coming out of the crown. It's made to imitate our hair. Yeah, look at them again more carefully. The more carefully you look at it, the more what I'm saying will make a lot of sense. Matter of fact, I got a picture right over here. I'll show you another one here. And so this is a research technique I'm giving you here. I'm giving you these are some gems of wisdom, some research secrets, technical inside stuff. Now you see that right there? This is a head of Buddha. I don't know if it's from Japan or China. It's from one of those two areas. But it's a head of Buddha. And you see here, those coils, that's our hair. We're the only ones that have hair to grow like that. So it makes it easy. We don't have to sit there and argue about was Buddha black. Obviously, he's black. Okay? Obviously, he's black. Because who else would have hair like that? Your dog don't have hair like that. Your cat don't have hair like that. The only critters around that have hair like that are black folks. That's right. They're with those helical coils. It's a telltale sign, no matter what color, what kind of stone or rock or metal you make the sculpture out of, those coils are telltale. Now, just as a last point on that one, in Japan, when they design a statue of Buddha, the Buddha, it's written into their protocol that the Buddha must have 626 curlicues on its head in order to be right. So, somebody's counting them and making sure they all have 626 of those little coils on top of their head. True fact. So that's our presentation for today. And as you notice, we did not even get to Hannibal yet. We just finished up on the commentary. But tomorrow we will get into the main part of this deal. And we will read at least one more day on Hannibal. Because the main thing I want to talk about with him, we're going to talk a little bit about him and his travels, etc. And some other questions I have. Because I have questions as a historical researcher. You got to, an educational researcher, you got to have questions. And you formulate your own questions before you even consult an expert. That's a rule Fela Shawande gave us, another one of my professors. Before consulting any authority, come to a conclusion, no matter how tentative, before you ever consult an expert. Come to a conclusion about a thing or a place or an event, no matter how tentative, before you ever go and consult an expert. So before you let somebody else calcify your mind in a particular way that this is what it is, look at it for yourself, think about it, come to your own conclusion, then do some further research. Sometimes you'll be right, sometimes you may be wrong. But come to a conclusion first, and then take it a step further. All right? So that's all for today. We'll be back here at 9 o'clock tonight. That's just my computer reminding me that our time is up. We'll be back here tonight at 9 o'clock. And as you already know, there are a number of ways to support us. One of them that we're emphasizing right now is the Amazon Smile campaign. All you have to do is go to Facebook, go to our website, and there's a link there with the Amazon Smile logo. Click that link. It'll take you to a page where you do a little bit of signing up, not much. And all your Amazon purchases will now go through, as long as they go through that portal, you go through that portal every time. You're not all your purchases, but most of your purchases, many of your purchases are going, a percentage of that money will come directly to Black Facts. Okay. So that's another way you can donate without taking any skin off your nose. Yeah. It'll give you some skin in the game, but it won't come off your nose. It'll come from some other part of your anatomy. I won't mention where. No. I'm only kidding about that. Okay. But it's a good thing. Go ahead, sign up, do it, or just donate direct if you want. You can do it on Facebook on the donation page, at our website on the donation page, or right below using the link on Facebook. Either way, we will get some more resources that we sorely need in order to keep this thing going. We got some momentum, but we need to keep adding some fuel to this fire of desire for the truth about who we are, where we came from, and what we've done while we've been here. Because we ain't roaches. We've been here for 1 million years or so, but we're not roaches. We've been doing some things while we're here. We've made some accomplishments to human civilization. And that's what we're trying to point out here with our live streams. All right, enough said. Peace out. Without a doubt, we'll see y'all tonight. And make sure y'all get